I'm gonna show you guys today how to disassemble and replace your Dell Precision laptop and one of these old ones, but one of the best old ones, let's say, which has a dedicated video card built in, like it's not a video chip soldered on the motherboard or anything like that. This one has a separate video card mounted on the motherboard, which you can replace it with different versions, upgrade them later on, which is right now it's really hard to find on higher end laptops. Pretty much everything comes in soldered in. You can't replace or upgrade your video card or video chip. On this one at the bottom you can see it has two ventilation like the newer Alienwares, and this one is about what, 10 years old, 9 years old. And the model number on this one, it's let's see where the model number is at, PP05XA. So let's get to it and let's take it apart and show you guys how to disassemble this. I went already and I already took the battery out. So to take the battery out, you just have to remove this clip right there. And next thing, you want to remove the cover for the hard RAM and the cover for the Wi-Fi board, which is right, these two. Alright, once you remove these two, put it to one side. I usually like to work when I'm working with a mechanical towels on the bottom, so if I spill anything or scratch anything, I don't scratch the table. Alright, once we remove the covers for the RAM and the Wi-Fi board, first thing first, you want to remove the cable for the Wi-Fi board. You don't need, if you want to just go repaste, you don't have to, but if you want to disassemble the screen, actually you don't need to remove it, never mind, because you have to take the screen apart. So remove these two cables, the Wi-Fi, and leave the rest on the board, don't touch. Now you want to go ahead and remove all the screws that you see on the bottom side, including the middle ones, the hard drive, and there's a one piece right here I already took apart. The screw that goes right there, these two, and pretty much all the screws that you have it on top. So go ahead and remove everything. Alright, now that all the screws are removed, first thing first, always remove the hard drive just by pulling this handle over here, whatever you want to call this plastic thing, to the right side or to the left, depending how you have the position. That's your hard drive. And if you want to upgrade your hard drive, that's as far as you go. You just have to remove these two four screws. Alright, and also remove this cover for the Bluetooth that is inside here. You don't really need to remove this screw for the Bluetooth, but if you have, so don't worry about it. Anyway, and the next thing is you want to remove, if you want to remove the motherboard completely, you have to remove these four screws beside every connectors, VGA and DVI. These are pretty much like that. You want to remove this screws right there, and you remove those in case you want to remove the motherboard to clean your motherboard. I already removed those. Once you removed all the screws on the bottom, you remove the hard drive. You can go ahead and remove the CD-ROM. By removing the CD-ROM, don't put anything inside here to remove it. So you just have to push this cover here towards the CD-ROM, and the CD-ROM just pops down, open. Now that we remove the CD-ROM and the hard drive, remove the cables on the bottom side. You flip it over, and open the lid for the laptop. And right now you want to open the screen as far as you can on the back, up to like a 45 degrees. And then you want to grab a flat screwdriver. Let me see if I can focus better. It is focused. Zoom in. Right there. I don't know if you guys can see. There's a little space right here. There's a dent right there. Put the screwdriver right there and just lift it up slowly. And you want to hear this kind of cracking noise. But next, you don't want to just do this, stretch this part. So just put the screwdriver right underneath the hinge once you lift it up, and then move it around, and it will come out. Just right up to the middle. Once you lift it up to here, and don't pull it anymore because you're gonna break it. You're gonna leave it down and go to this side and put the screwdriver right between the hinges on this side and lift it up. Now you can go ahead and remove the plastic cover for the top area of the keyboard. Right. Next, you want to remove the 2 screws that hold in the keyboard. I already removed it, so one right here and one right here. Remove these 2 screws that hold the keyboard. Once you remove that, you want to grab the keyboard and pull it towards the screen. Yeah, pull it to the screen a little bit, up to there, and you're gonna see this black ribbon cable right there. Let me lift the lid so you guys can see it nicely. There's right there. Once you see this black ribbon cable, just lift up this plastic cover just 90 degrees up. Right there. It stays there. So you just lift out 90 degrees and then the whole ribbon cable would just slide out. Alright, that's your keyboard if you want to replace. And next, if you want to remove this battery right here, this is the BIOS battery. If you remove it, you have to put the date and time on the BIOS again. And if you don't want to do that, just lift the battery from here without disconnecting it and leave it on the motherboard. So that way you don't have to put the date and time. Next, unplug the LCD cable just by lifting up this flap right here. The blue flap, just lift it 90 degrees up. And next, you want to remove the 2 screws on each hinges. One right there and 2 right over the other side. Once you remove these 4 screws, you want to lift up your screen slowly, and remember that these cables are the antennas for the Wi-Fi. They're just gonna come out because you already unplugged it for the other side. So put the screen to one side. Now start removing unplug the cable for the on-off switch, which is right here. Just pull this cable. I don't know if you can see this one right there. This cable right there, just pull it up. And also unhook the mouse touchpad keyboard right there. Right. Once you did that, now we're gonna start removing the screws. Remove all the screws on the plastic, on the gray plastic, up where it says PP, and one right there, P, 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 P. Remove everything that says P. Once you remove all the, should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws that should be right there to remove. 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there should be about 6 screws. Remove it. Once you remove those, just lift up the top cover right there. And if you flip it over, on the bottom you can see you have your on-off switch port and your playback buttons down here. You want to replace it. Your touchpad right there. Alright, now we are down to the motherboard. So down here it's your GPU board and your CPU and your heatsink and 2 fans that you have. You do not need to disconnect the fans. So let's go ahead and start by disconnecting the heatsink for the CPU by just removing 4 screws here. Alright, once you remove these 4 screws, just lift up slowly. And there you have your CPU and your PCH chip, South Bridge or North Bridge chip. In this case, it's both at one. And if you want to clean the thermal paste on here and put the new thermal paste, I already changed the thermal paste on this one, so I'm just reopening it to show you guys how to. If you want to repaste it, just clean it up with an alcohol and apply your thermal paste. I offer my clients 2 types of thermal paste, Arctic Silver 5 and MX4. In this case, I put on MX4. Just put 1 drop in the middle, and that should be enough. And I also apply a little bit on top of the PH chip. Now you can put this to one side. Alright, to unhook the heatsink for the GPU, you have to unscrew the 4 screws that hold in the board, the black screws. Once you unscrew those, you can just go ahead and lift up the board straight up, and there you have the whole video card which mounts on the motherboard right there. So pretty much this is your video card, separated, dedicated video card built in. And these are one of the best video cards because everything, the processor, the video card, it sits on top of the motherboard. They're not like holding from the other side of the motherboard. Even if it overheats, it stays right where it is. And the soldering balls underneath the video chip, they just don't hang from the ceiling type. In most common laptops right now, the Alienware, they put the video chip upside down from the other side of the board. So when it really overheats and the soldering balls from the video chip, they start disconnecting from the board because of the gravity and the heat. And that's just kind of thing that they do it on purpose. Back then, like 10 years ago, like 15 years ago, they used to make motherboards this way, the proper way. All the video chip, everything is supposed to sit on top of the board. So, but this way it will last them longer. So, and they start doing it the other way. So, after a year or two, the video chip starts failing. So you had to do a process called reballing. So you have to reball the video chip, change the soldering balls under the video chip. So let me show you guys what does that mean. This is a video chip for a PlayStation, and it applies to any other video chip pretty much. So let me zoom in. As you can see, this video chip, it has a soldering balls right on the bottom. These are about 300, 400 soldering balls that it has. Once these soldering balls overheat to get to certain temperature, they start melting. And if it's hanging from the ceiling on the top part of the motherboard, the soldering balls start disconnecting from the motherboard. But if it's sitting on top of the motherboard, when it starts overheating, the soldering balls will not disconnect from the chip because the chip is the hottest part of uh, the board. So it will not disconnect from the chip and it will still hang to the motherboard. So that's one of the main reasons right now the laptops they make right now these days, they start failing from the overheating and then video chip disconnecting from the board. It's because of the gravity and the position of the chip, which is located on the bottom of the board, which is hanging pretty much from the ceiling. And that's the only reason that you guys need a revolving your video chips, because of the position of the chip. So let's talk in and let's go ahead and open this video card. So let's put this board to us side. Now, in order to remove the heatsink, you have to remove these 4 screws right here. Alright, once you unscrew those, just flip it over, remove the plate on the bottom. I need to unscrew this one a little more, right there. So that's the bracket that holds the heatsink to the board. Zoom in. Alright, now put a face down and lift up the board. And there you have your video chip, your VRAMs right there, and your thermal pads, which you usually don't need to change those. All you need to do, clean up the video chip thermal paste and replace those thermal paste. I did apply Arctic Silver 5 on this one. I'm just gonna reapply a little more because I just reopened it. Every time you open it, you have to apply a little bit. So, there we go. And once you apply the thermal paste on top, you can just go ahead. I usually put, in this case, the video card on top of the heatsink. Make sure the holes match. And then put the bottom bracket. Hold it both together and I start on screwing back in. Alright, now that we screwed everything back in, you're gonna grab your laptop, and you want to place in your video card first. Press, and then just push it down so it goes in place, and put the 4 screws. They are always on top, they don't come off, so Alright, now you want to go ahead and clean the fans and the heatsink while you're doing this. And next you want to put the heatsink for the CPU. Make sure you put this part down first. Unless you started with a CPU, then no. Alright, now we got everything. Double check, make sure the fan connections are okay and everything else clean, tidy. Then grab your top part of the computer and just place it right on top. Connect your power switch in the middle. Take your battery, put it in a place. Connect your mouse touchpad. And pretty much you're done up to here. Now next you're gonna plug in your monitor. So grab your monitor. Now before you put the monitor in, make sure you just pass the cables through the Wi-Fi board first. Otherwise it's gonna be a little tidy space to work. I have the camera right in front of me. It makes it pain in the ass to do it. There you go. Once you pass the cable, then just put the screen on. Put the 4 screws, 2 on each side. By the way, this is an automatic screwdriver. It's meant for the laptop assembly. It has a torque. You can adjust the torque on this so you don't damage the screw heads or the plastic. Because I do this for a living, so trust me, I've been doing first manually everything for a few years, and you really get tired of doing this every day manually. Alright, once you got the screen on, put all the screws for the PP ones. This is the letter P. And once you got that in, grab your keyboard, put it in the same position that you took it out. Make sure the hinge for this one it's open. Right there. Make sure this flap is right here. It's a 90-degree angle. And then grab your flex cable, just put it down there. Make sure it's tied in, and then close the lid. And always make sure that this white line right there is straight. If it's diagonally or if it's going cross, then you put it in a bad position. Take it out and relocate it. And the keyboard first, you have to put the bottom side first. So try to put this side first down, and then squeeze on the top side and put the screws for the top part. And next you want to put the cover for the top part of the laptop. Open the lid up to 45 degrees, even more if you have space. Put this side first, the left side where the buttons are, and then move to the right and start pushing it down, and that's all. Now you can go ahead and slowly close the cover. Put down your towel nicely and flip it over. Now we're gonna go start with this the gray cable for an antenna we don't use, so just put the cover or tape it out if you lose the plastic thing. Connect the antenna cable. Alright, now grab your CD-ROM, put your CD-ROM inside, put your hard drive in, and put the cover for the RAM, the cover for the Wi-Fi, and we're gonna start putting all the screws back in. So we start from one corner and go all around. Once you put all the screws in, also put the screws on the back by the VGA cable. Alright guys, and that's how you do your service job for your HP Pavilion laptop. I really hope you guys like this video. If you liked it, thumbs up, and if you subscribe, you really help me out with taking requests for next videos, and also motivates me to make extra videos and answer any questions. So thank you for watching, guys.